Hello, how are you doing? Je m'appelle B.I.J. If you don't know me, I make language content, especially French content on Instagram and TikTok. While on YouTube, I'm more of a vlog person. I want to talk about how language learning French especially changed my life. I want to talk about why I learned French, not how. I'll do a video of how I learned French later on, but in this video I want to talk about the why, the grace and the love and the growth that has come with learning this new language. So I speak English and Yoruba as a native language. Like, I was born speaking, hearing them all the time. If you don't know, Yoruba is one of the languages spoken in West Africa and is spoken in some parts of Brazil also. Voila. And I learned Spanish and French as an adult. So I started with learning Spanish. D'accord? It started in 2020 during the COVID times. We didn't have anything to do. On n'avait rien à faire. Teníamos tiempo libre. I decided I'm going to learn a language. At that time, I was still in what you would call high school, secondary school. I started learning and it was going smoothly, but when COVID was over, it like cut off, because I was back in school and back with learning, and I really didn't have enough time to focus on language learning. After secondary school was over, I really wanted to continue maintaining my Spanish because I was really understanding Spanish. Learning a new language, it will make you feel that some things are possible, like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm understanding, I'm creating myself in another language, I'm speaking, I'm expressing in another language. It gives you that sensation. But the Spanish wasn't really strong. The Spanish wasn't there. I could only listen to like educative Spanish contents that are dedicated for language learners. I could read Spanish, which was really good, but expressing myself wasn't there. Understanding different accents, the one from España, the one from Valencia, the one from Mexico, the one from Colombia, the one from Argentina, I couldn't understand them. I was just understanding basically standard educated Spanish. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep on doing this thing until I'm perfect in it, until I'm able to understand it perfectly and express myself well. So it was like that. Then I got into the university, right? The university, I got the chance to have a roommate who was a model. And everybody kept telling me, you should also be a model. And I was like, okay. And the roommate gave me somebody's contact, and that person contacted an agency, and voila, I was already in a modeling agency. So this is where the story of learning French began. It all started with modeling and learning Spanish. So I signed with this agency, but before I signed with the agency, they made sure to tell me that we're taking a risk with you because you're not actually model height. You might have the model face, but you're not tall. Maintenant, je fais 1m80, mais à cette époque, je faisais 1m78, quelque chose comme ça. With the hair, if you're counting the hair, like, it was adding like a bit of 5 inches to it. Why am I speaking French? Attention, there's gonna be a mix of Spanish and French, and I'll be putting subtitles. Like, I do that a lot when I'm like telling stories. Like, it just comes in. Oh my god, my polyglot brain. But they made sure to warn me that, okay, you're good looking, but you're not the height we're looking for. But we're gonna sign you and we're gonna test you to see if you can get international agencies. So they did. But you know what they did? They tweaked my height on the paper, on the emails they were sending to international agencies. They said, they added a few, like 2-3 inches. But in their defense and in my defense of accepting this, with the hair, which obviously they don't count, I had an afro at that time. With the hair, I could say I was like 185 or 1m85. But in all honesty, like, you put the hair down, you do a cornrow, you see that it's not that. It was a bit of a scary thing to do, but the agency encouraged me, like, forget about the height, you have the face and everything. So I was like, okay, cool. And within like 2 days, within 3 days, within a week, I started getting calls from French agencies, Italian agencies, Spanish agencies, and they wanted me, because so it was like, what the fuck? I am going to be a model. I was always telling the head of the agency, oh my god, they want me. When am I going to Milan? When am I going to Paris? Like, make it fast, in a joking manner. I got signed to an Italian agency, a Parisian agency, and a Spanish agency. So they really wanted me. but at what cost? They didn't know the truth about the height. So as I've said before, I was in university and, trying to learn about this modeling stuff, working on my catwalk, working on being a better model, doing trainings and all those things. So it was like colliding with my university work, which was fine. I could handle it. But what happened that made it worse is that Fashion Week, the summer fashion week, the one that happens in June, July, during this period, is meant to happen, right? The agency wants me. But at the same time, my university exams are going to happen. Like, I need to take my university exams for me to, like, advance to the next level. So I was between these two crossroads. Like, the agency wants me to come to Paris to do Fashion Week in Paris. And I have my exams, my university exams in the same time frame. I tell myself you have to make a decision. So in my head, I'm like, school, I can pause that for now. Like, I can be like, and I didn't really like the university. Like, honestly, like, oh my God, I'm grateful to be there. But like, I didn't really like connect with it. I was just like making friends, like, but the learning stuff, I really it didn't hit jackpot. So I was scared because one, I lied about my height. The agency tweaked it a bit. The agency tweaked my height a bit. And two, I've never done anything like this. I've never flown out of the country. I've never been to modeling, and modeling is a risky job, like people would say. But in my head, I was like, always take a risk. You never know what can come out of it. So I decided to take this part of going to Fashion Week that summer and stopping my exam. So what I did, I deferred the semester. That is like taking a gap semester, that kind of vibe. So basically, I will have more work to do in the future years. So it was a scary thing to do. My parents supported me, which I'm grateful for. Everybody encouraged me, like, do it, like, you never know. And I think why the encouragement was there was because, like, oh my God, you're traveling abroad to do modeling? Like, that's like, who wouldn't take the opportunity, So they supported me, and we spent money. I spent savings. Honestly, I spent my parents' money, not really mine, because I wasn't working at that time. I didn't really have money. So we spent money for the visa. We spent money to buy clothes, to buy new things, buy bags, and we're not really that buoyant, So it's like, okay, we're investing this in you. We're investing this in your career of modeling, and boom, in like a few weeks, I got the visa and I start preparing to go, but I'm not paying for the flight tickets. It's the agency that will like take care of everything. The agency that wants to bring me, which made me feel really scared because like, what the fuck? What if they don't want me as I'm going to like Paris, France? What if they don't like want me? What if they realize like I'm fucking like skinny and short and I'm not like, I was so scared. One, because of the lie. Please don't ever lie on your resume, guys. Don't ever lie on your resume. Like, you would be living in fear for the rest of your life. I'm going to Paris and I think they speak French there. And I was like, okay, let me learn French. I started learning the top 10 words, like the top 10 verbs, like trouver, manger, and important phrases like où sont les toilettes. I started learning just basics for me to survive, That's when I started learning French. The jour J comes and I go to Paris. I fly, and my first time ever, I was really excited, filled with happiness and everything. But at the same time, it was stressful, I don't have really much pictures of it because like my phone was stolen. So I get there. I had a roommate who was also from my country, and we had the same agency. And so we went to the agency, and as soon as I got in the agency, the looks I got, what we ordered versus what we got, and I understand the disappointment in their faces because like with my agency, I lied, and it's not something I'm really proud of. Like, anytime if you don't let them don't tweak anything, like be you, they might want you if you're you. They were like, we're gonna measure you again. So they measured me, and this time my afro, they pressed it down because like, don't measure afro. You're just deceiving yourself because that's not your real height. The height they're looking for is for your body, not your hair, They pressed it down and they measured, and I was like 1m79, I think. So they called my agency back home and they were like, you lied to us, but we're going to give your boy a chance, that is me, a chance to like try to go for castings in Fashion Week and just see if you get a job. And I've never been so scared in my life. Like, before traveling, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to see a new city. I'm going to live my best queer life, in fact. Like, I'm going to be so freaking libre. I'm going to do everything I want to do. But because of this ultimatum, because of this fear that I had, like, oh my God, I just got here and I'm already failing. They don't want me anymore. I was scared. I couldn't even enjoy the moment. I couldn't even enjoy the beauty of being in Paris. I was just like going for casting. I was like disoriented, like going for wrong castings, going late to castings, and it wasn't just good. And at the end of the day, they would always have a problem with, you have the face, but you're not like the body. Body's not tea, body's matcha. So it was very that. First day I went for like 10 castings. Second day I went for a lot of castings. Third day when my roommate, like I said, was already getting jobs, was already getting callbacks, and I was there, I wasn't getting anything. I was disappointed with myself. I hated myself. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was so down. I was so like sad. So Fashion Week started. The it brand where I said Dior, Fendi, Louis Vuitton, they already had the people they want. So I wasn't picked for any of those things, and I was really, really sad. So the agency called me back into the office, and after those few days, and they were like, I'm sorry, but you are not going to stay here anymore in Paris, France, that you have to go back home. That was the end of the dream. It was just short-lived and really, really filled with fear and not love. So on the last day, my roommate, really, really amazing person, I told him what happened and I explained to him that I didn't get any casting because of this and that. Like, I'm going back home, and it was like so sad for me. And it was like, let's just go out. We're in Paris. Let's go to the Eiffel Tower. Let's just go and enjoy ourselves, Let's make friends and everything. I didn't want to go because like, what's the point? Like, ugh. But I went to the Eiffel Tower. I went out that night at Paris and I fell in love, guys. I fell in love with Paris, France. Just the Eiffel Tower alone made me fall in love. We took a lot of pictures, which I can't find now because my phone was stolen. So we took pictures. I fell in love. So the next day, I was meant to go back. I missed my flight. And at this time, I was contemplating, why not stay here? Why not just stay? And, who cares? I didn't even know the visa rules. I didn't even know anything. Like, I just wanted to stay, And I was saying probably this is a sign for me to stay. The missing my flight was a sign for me to stay. Don't judge me. Like, that was my first time. Like, girl, I was disoriented, right? In order to catch the next flight, I would have to pay like 200 and 100 and something euros, and I didn't have money. Like, bitch, I'm telling you, like, I was broke. So my uncle helped me to pay. The next day I was already at the airport, and I was like, I'm not gonna stay in Paris, France. I want to come back again. I want to be able to come back. I don't know. It just didn't feel right for me to stay. So I made myself a promise that the next time I come back to Paris, France, I'm going to come back with French in my mouth. I'm going to come back speaking perfect French. Like, et maintenant, voilà, je parle français. So as soon as I landed back home with my parents, like, I felt like such a disappointment. Like, everybody was looking up to me to like succeed in this like risk that I took, and I felt like such a disappointment. But they didn't make me feel like a disappointment. I just felt it, like, oh my God, like, look at you, like, they spent this lot of money on you. You stopped schooling to do this and you fuckingly failed at it. Like, oh my God, I don't even want to think about those memories. But my mom was always like, oh, everything's going to be well, Wada, like, calm down. Tu vas être bien. My sister was encouraging me to like, don't worry about it. You are not a failure. Like, everybody was really, really proud of me, because like, you took a risk, and but if you fail, like, so I wasn't schooling anymore. I didn't even want to go back to school because it was like, everybody already knew that, oh, like, you went to Paris, like, stuff like that. And I didn't want them to be asking questions. So I was back home, like, I was just in my house. So what did I do during this free time that I had? I started learning French. Morning, afternoon, night. I wanted to learn French so bad. I wanted it to be, this was my motivation, just to go back to Paris and have French in my fucking head and make new friends in fucking Paris. Like, I wanted to be there, I wanted to really be there because I was already in love with Paris, So what I'll be doing is I'll be watching Parisian vlogs in French. I started learning all the words I need to learn, the grammar rules. I started consuming a lot of consommation. I used music to learn. I remember, je me baladais sur l'avenue, la corvée à l'inconnu. J'avais envie de dire bonjour à n'importe qui, salut toi, je te dis n'importe quoi, il suffisait de te parler pour t'apprivoiser. That was the first song I ever learned in French, Oh, obsession with this language, with this city, with this. I wanted to go back. That was my motivation. Also, my motivation was to prove to myself that this time I'm not going to fail at something, you know? I'm going to put my mind to something and I'm going to succeed. That was my motivation. Like, I was like, if I fail at French again after failing at modeling, I would fucking like that. Like, no, no, I'm joking, but like, I didn't want to feel like this thing again because I loved it so much because I was obsessed. So I wanted it. I started learning. I would take breaks, you know, I would take breaks like 1 week break. Then I would see one vlog in Paris and be like, no, I want to be fucking there, you know. I completely was obsessed with this language. A few months, I was seeing myself improve. Like this podcast is the first podcast I watched, or this YouTube video that was like, bitch, I understand what you're saying without needing subtitles either in English or in French. Like, I'm following your conversation, Dia. Like, qu'est-ce qui se passe là? In a French, I recommend 100%. In December of this year, when all this happened, I had the chance to travel again to Milan or in Barcelona to do a bit of like test shoots, you know. They wanted to test me out. This time, in all honesty, knowing that, okay, you're not the tallest, but we still want to try you again. So I went to Barcelona and I went to Milan and I spent a few days in France, in Compiègne, but not in Paris. Compiègne is a petite ville. And there I was with like a family. They spoke English and French. So I was there with them because they housed me and I was like learning new things. Lâche-la means leave her. Lâche-le means leave him. I remember bagarrer. Bagarrer means to fight. So I went to Milan and it was really, really good that this time I was being honest. I wasn't lying about my height, you know. It was really nice. I loved it. I did a few shoots and castings, but it really didn't work out, you know. It was a really, really nice attempt to see again if I could succeed in modeling. So I failed in that. And I was like, okay, since I failed in modeling again, not really failed, but like you didn't get the job, so you didn't succeed. So I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to take an exam, you know. Like the exam will be the staple on whether I know French or not, whether I'm good in French or not, because I was already seeing improvement. But it'll be the staple, like, okay, you actually learn this language and you're good at it. So I was like, should I take the A1, the A2, the B1, the B2, the C1, the C2? I literally wanted to take the C1, you know, but it was really close and it was a bit expensive. So I took the B2. Yeah, the next year I was like, I need money to pay for the exam. So I asked my parents for money. I actually asked them, like, you have to give me this money. Like, I actually wanted to drop out of, like, I didn't want to go to school again because like, I was like, oh, like, bitch, I need to focus on French, like, mastering this French. And that was the first exam I ever took. I really did well. I remember the exam day. What helped me was expression orale. I was really good at speaking out loud and, you know, expressing myself in French. Like, I was making them examinators laugh. They were laughing at my jokes. C'était incroyable. C'était cool. The result didn't come out, like, at once. I didn't know my score, but I knew that I ate that exam. Like, I don't even need to wait for the score. But at the time, that was like a bit of fear. But I think at this moment, after failing so many times, my sister told me something like, once you fail and fail and fail again, you will know how to fail. You would know like, okay, this is things that make people like not pass. So your mind will now be in succeeding. Like, it's being so positive in the sense that your positivity and your faith is not dependent on other people. Like what I'm trying to say is, with modeling, you know, your success is dependent on if the casting director likes you, if the casting director doesn't like you, you know. But with learning something, it depends on what is in your head, what is up here, and your capabilities and your dedication. But we like being a model, being selected, being like, that's on the other hand. So I remember like, you know, my positivity was always, oh my God, I'm so positive. I hope they choose me, but it's not in my hands, you know. The only thing I can do is like be positive. But if I'm positive with language learning or learning a skill, like I can be positive with that and know still put in the energy and let my positivity show for me, you know. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but that's basically the vibe of, you know, those periods of my life where I was like learning this language. That's it. So I passed the exam. Language transfer helped me. Inner French helped me. I remember like now that I was saying my French improved, I was like, okay, it is time to improve and maîtriser my Spanish, you know. And at the time I was trying to master Spanish and, you know, hold on my French. I was like mixing these two languages together. I could start a sentence like, je vais manger con mi amigo au restaurant ce soir. I could like be speaking like that, you know, like, and it was really, really well. So quick advice, if you're learning a language, two languages together, don't learn similar languages, you know. When I got the result a few months later, I was like, you can do anything you set your mind to. You're amazing, you're amazing, you're amazing. So with all this energy I was having, all this like energy of good vibes, okay, you can do anything. I was like, okay, I'm going to find a way to like go to Paris again. Like this time, go and stay in Paris and make new friends. So with that determination in mind, I was looking for ways, looking for finances, and thank God, I'm grateful for the people that were able to like help me. You know, the people who helped me in housing, the people who helped me in finances, getting a flight ticket. Like I had already packed all my savings, but it wasn't enough to survive. But I just knew that in that moment, I wanted to be in Paris, France. So few years later, I was working towards it. I got the visa again. So cuckoo. I didn't actually talk about how I got the visa again. So basically, I got signed to another Parisian agency. So they were like, okay, we're gonna try it for this fashion week. They wanted to bring me, and you know, that's how I got the visa easily. But at the end of the day, they couldn't bring me again because like probably I wasn't getting like many offers from brands. So I was like, oh, this visa is gonna waste if I don't use it. So that's what really pushed me to say, I'm gonna find a way to not waste this visa, and I'm gonna find a way to go to Paris. I had the opportunity to travel to Paris. And when you feel you're meant to be somewhere, when you're obsessed with something, it means that city is calling you. And I've never felt like I was meant to be somewhere ever. So in the ending of 2025, I got to travel to Paris. It wasn't for fashion week, it wasn't for anything, but just to be in Paris, just to see Paris, just to make Paris. And I made a lot of new friends, and I'm happy I made new friends because these new friends were like more like queer friends, you know, which is something like the only queer friend I have where I live is miles away from me. I didn't even know how I was surviving. I was just exploring, just moving, going out at night. Like it was incredible. Like being blessed. Like people just see me like take $500, like literally. And I'm grateful to all the people, all the friends that I met on the way that just made me feel welcome, made me feel took care of me. Like Paris is just my city, and I would love to move there, honestly. I don't know how to explain the feeling of like being in the right place at the right time, but that was it. That was Paris for me, and I hope to do that again, be in Paris again, and move to Paris. And voila, that's why I learned French. So basically, that's why I learned French. This is designed to continue learning your language. You don't even know it will open doors for you. It has opened so many doors for me in terms of financial stability. You know, I've been able to teach online. Thanks to French and social media, I've been able to make a substantial income for myself. So basically, I've been able to travel. I think I love traveling, and that's one thing I would love to be doing. Be adding to whatever lifestyle I'm living. Travel is going to be there. And it will push you to tell yourself that, okay, if I can learn French, or if I can learn Spanish, if I can learn Arabic, like I can fucking do anything in life. It still keeps pushing me. Like anytime I'm having difficulty, I'm just like, bah je parle français, bah j'ai appris les français. Quoi? Oh my god, pourquoi ça, why is this difficile? Pourquoi c'est difficile? Regarde, pourquoi c'est difficile? Pourquoi c'est autant difficile pour moi de faire ça quand j'ai appris les français? It's just like fill you with a lot of like motivation, and also it's pushed me to continue learning language because I already have 4 in the bag: English, Yoruba, Spanish and French. Allo espagnol, je parle français et je suis en train d'apprendre le portugais et voir le portugais. Gostaria de ficar com música árabe também. Al-Medina Kadima. Yalla, yalla. That's all. So that's where we are in the language learning journey and why I learned French. I hope this will be a motivation for you not to give up on your language learning journey. I don't know if I'm gonna edit this video, but if I edit this video and this video sees the light of day, I did a lot of work. Okay, so hit the like button and the subscribe button and dame un like, por favor. Dame un grrr, okay? Un like, por favor. Y share it to your friends and voilà, c'est tout. Bye.